Hello everyone, today I'm working on these two Atlas locomotives, a GP40-2 and a GP38-2. The problem being they're a little noisy. I featured this before in a video called A Fun 1 Hour Project, but now with what I did to my SDP40F, I'm working if I can improve them some more. This GP40-2 is actually pretty quiet to begin with. But I think I might be able to improve it some more even. So that's going to be our good unit for comparison. So the GP38-2. That's pretty noisy. It still runs beautifully despite the noise. Let's start by this worst one. I'll spare you from the shell removal. I used just the box method. You don't have to take everything apart to remove the trucks. That's how we're going to do it. We're just going to remove the trucks and see if I can shim it to improve it. So I don't have to take everything apart to get in there. I just have to loosen the screws and then pry on the frame just a tiny little bit. Gives me enough slack to remove the trucks. And don't pull hard on these because you can damage the gearbox, the little prongs that keep it in. So you don't need to remove the screw all the way, just loosen it. And if you get enough slack, then you can get the trucks out, no problem. So then I have access to my frame. This has already been cleaned and lubed, so I don't need to do anything more. I'm going to take it all the way apart to give you some theory behind this. So here's the theory. You can see the train's pretty quiet now, but the problem is the weight of the train rests on the worm gear. This is where your noise comes from. So the best thing to do is what I need to do is just shim it just a little bit, and that should make all the difference. Yeah, end scale is very small. So here's more theory. The frame actually sits on this tiny little pin here. This is the pin that holds it into the frame. So I could shim on this side, or I could shim on the frame. To me, it looks easier to shim on the frame. So this area here is what I need to shim. So this engine's not exactly new. It's seen its share of hard work. So I'm just putting a little bit of Scotch tape on the frame. And on the SDP40F, I needed 3 thicknesses. I'm going to try to put 1 and then 2 and then 3. And then I can report to you how much it takes actually. Well, it's not going super well. I have figured one thing out though. On some of these trucks, the gears are cut straight. I've been trying different trucks, different gearboxes, because I do have a few parts one. So on this particular gearbox, it's very small, so it's not obvious to see it. but the gears have an angle on them, and that helps them match the worm gears in here. So here's the theory: the straight cut ones, they for sure make more noise. So here's your worm gear, and if the gear matches the angle, it'll be less noisy. Now mind you, when you're putting them on the locomotive, if the locomotive's like that and you flip them 180 like this, the gears will be looking like that. So as your gears are angled this way, like that, that means that when your truck is on this side, again, it's very subtle, but the gears are angled this way. So you should have the engine this way and the gears this way. And then once you turn them 180, they'll match each other like that. So I'm going to keep trying different things. Also, I've been experimenting with putting electrical tape directly on the truck rather than going to put it on the frame. That seems to work okay, but I still have too much noise. I'm going to keep trying different things. I put the skew wound gears, and it's improved some, but I'm still not happy. So I basically put everything back together the way it was, with the straight cut gears. And I'm starting to shim. Let me see if I can refocus that. I'm starting to shim on the side there on the trucks, like so. That's a lot easier to put the trucks in and out. And I put two thicknesses, and that was too much. So I'm gonna leave it with one thickness, and then I'm gonna call that good. So on the GP38, I got only minor improvements. It's running on low voltage, barely lighting up the LED. So I'm gonna call this good enough. I think I've done everything I can to improve it. Now I'm gonna move on to the GP40-2. This one, interestingly enough, already has, this one only has straight cut gears. And interestingly enough, it was always very quiet. So I'm not gonna change too much on this. I'm just gonna shim a little bit on the pins here, just to see what's gonna happen. So I'm ending up just liking to shim on the little pin here. That goes pretty easy for me, all things considered. This works pretty good. This one was always good. It was always decent. So I don't know if I made much of an improvement. You can put down in the comments below whether you think this was a good thing to do or if it's just a waste of time. And then maybe it's like those fuel economy things they sell on eBay. You know, you did something to your cars, so you feel you improved something, but in reality, you just drive slower so you save gas. So it's tough to say. I think I improved it some. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.